Hey everybody, welcome to AI TV. Today we're looking at my favourite game of all time, which is Black and White. Now Black and White has some very interesting AI involved with it. So just to quickly recap over how I'm reviewing, and if you guys want to become a reviewer as well, just follow the link. I'm going to have it up there for you. If you're not interested in becoming a reviewer, don't worry, I'm going to go over the scoring system quite quickly so you don't think I'm totally insane as I'm playing the game and shouting out certain words. So we look at different domains of intelligence to assess the AI, and to rate them we use a 5-point scoring system, and we use animals to describe how intelligent the AI actually is. So at number 1, which is the lowest, we have the panda. The panda will die without human intervention. That's how stupid it is. The pigeon is at number 2 with some basic conditioning. At number 3 we got cats and dogs. Cats and dogs can learn a lot more than a pigeon. Some more higher intellect going on there. At number 4 we have the dolphin, because who doesn't love a dolphin? And at number 5 we've got human intelligence. So, Black and White, if you're not familiar with it, you actually play as a god. And as a god you have your villages, you have even a creature who is under your command. Now I'm going to get on with it because I love this game, I'm so excited. Remember guys to subscribe and like, give your comments below, I'm happy to reply to you all. And we're going to get started. So I think what we start to do is look at the villages to begin with. So we're going to be looking at the navigation, the strategy, the cooperation, individuality, and the player awareness as well. So navigation is pretty simple. We're just going to look and see how they are moving around the map.
Must build homes.
Which they seem to be doing. They're going around. You can actually give them specific jobs as well. So for example over here I've got a farmer, and he's heading over towards the farms, and he's succeeding in reaching that place, so that's quite good. Without much interaction and being told what to do, they only succeed in doing jobs that I actually create. So if I was to make a building, they will go to it unless they are told otherwise. Individuality, there isn't much. They're a hive mind essentially. Even graphically everyone looks the same, as we can see here. There's two guys, twins I imagine. And then looking at their cooperation, we're going to see that they don't have much actually, when you consider what cooperation really is.
Must build homes.
I don't know why she's screaming. They don't really, I mean for example you see here you've got needs of the village, and they don't act based on that, they just carry on doing with what they've been pre-programmed to do. So there's not much cooperation for them to achieve each other's desires. And lastly we have player awareness. There is none until you start to interact with them. So if I don't want to throw a child. This one's sleeping. Right, we're going to wake her up. So as you can see I've thrown her and everyone has run away from that happening. But if I do something called a miracle, for example I can heal people, they realise it and they stand in awe of my miracle. So that's basically it for the NPCs. I mean, with the hive mind, it's not a panda. Pandas aren't hive-minded. Pigeons are, and they don't really cooperate to achieve the individual needs. They can also navigate, and they're not really aware of other things until there is some sort of interaction to be had with them. So I'm going to be giving pigeon all across the board for the villagers at this point. But what I really want to look at is the creature. I'm going to find him quickly. Let's see where he's at. Okay, Now I've taught him some things. I mean, you can actually teach a creature as if it was, say, a dog. So you can show him certain actions and he will mimic them, and then you can condition him whether that's good or bad with either a reward, which you will just give him a stroke on the head, and that reaffirms, that conditions him to continue doing that action that he's just done. Or I can do negative. Now that tells him, don't do that. Let's make him happy again. That'll tell him, don't do that, and he'll stop doing the action that he's performing. So I'm just going to let him what is called sandboxing, which basically means that he's allowed to act as his AI is telling him to do. And I'm going to go over some things that the creature follows. So for example, we've got some machine learning, which is called perceptron. And what perceptron does is it watches the player and it learns from the player. It registers the actions and it tries to mimic it.
Lethes villages are ripe to be taken over.
Alright, thanks man. So if I was to take some food, for example, he's watching me now, and I put it in. In his AI, he has now put the action in his database. Now he doesn't know if that's good or bad. And so what he'll do, normally, is mimic the action, and then you have the option, that's good, or that's bad. And so that would mean that when he's sandboxing, he will choose those actions to do based on how positive you have given it in weight. There's also decision tree making, which is how he then decides with that database how to act. You know, for example, he has some basic needs like hunger and tiredness, and they obviously, as you would expect in most animals, to overwrite his other needs. Like, as he was casting a heal there, he wouldn't do that if he was hungry, he would be seeking out food. And then lastly we have an AI that looks at belief, desire and intention. Now what this does is it weights actions with morality. For example, if you are a good person or a bad person. So the fact that he was healing my villagers, that is seen as a good moral thing to do. If I was raising my creature to be evil, he wouldn't do that. That would not be in his nature to do it. More likely he would cast fireballs and start burning my villagers down, which is a viable option in this game. It's quite fun actually. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you some of that quickly. I'm going to bring him over here, and then we're going to look at the domains of intelligence and see on what level he's on. But actually, you know what, I'm going to teach him some bad things to do, which is
lightning.
Lightning. So I'm going to bring him over here where you can see it, and I'm just going to cast it. And you see there's a small percentage and a light bulb has appeared next to him. Oh, he set himself on fire. Wow, look at that. He knows he's on fire and he's cast the water miracle, which I taught him previously.
Lightning.
So now he's learning this again. He's at 28%. He understands. And if I keep doing this, eventually he's going to learn the spell. And what he can do is then cast it himself later on.
Lightning.
That is him, for example, attempting the miracle, but because he hasn't fully learned it, he has failed in it. So we'll keep going. You can see his frustration that he doesn't know it properly yet.
Lightning.
But hopefully, one more time after this, and he's going to have it in his arsenal of miracles to cast.
Lightning.
And that should be it. He should know it now. There we go. So now this is my opportunity to tell him whether it's good or bad. So I'm going to say that's a good thing to do. You want to cast lightning. Because as we're going to see in a little bit, when you're up against enemies, you want to be casting those kind of spells to help you in battle. So while he's sandboxing, I'm just going to go over those domains of intelligence and see just how far up in the scale he actually is. He's enjoying it too much now, I think. I'm going to tell him, don't do it on trees. He's actually registering the negative conditioning. Okay, so navigation. It's actually quite impressive. He always finds the shortest route to wherever he wants to go, whether it's somewhere to go eat or sleep. In terms of individuality, you get a lot of creatures in this game. I chose the monkey because I just like monkeys, and we're just going to see what he does here. Alright, that's good. He's eating the sheep. And now I'm telling him the sheep is okay to eat. But if I was to play multiple games, he does have a personality. I mean, I can teach him to be good or bad. But if I was to let him just free roam around, he would be no different. Cooperation. It's pretty good actually. Like you would see in a dog, for example. He sees your actions, he learns from them, and then he repeats them. So in that sense he is cooperating with you. Then into player awareness. He's very aware of the player actually. When he's even sandboxing. Don't know why they're screaming. When he's sandboxing, whether you have him on the leash to train him or not, he's going to view your actions if he's around that area. So he's always aware of the player, and he's always kind of again like a dog. You see where I'm going with the scoring on this. He's always following you around when he can. And for that reason, I'm going to have to... Oh. And lastly, in terms of strategy, he doesn't develop his own strategy. It's basically what you tell him to do, which is very... Are you taking a dump? He's just farting against the temple. In terms of strategy, he won't develop his own. He doesn't understand the element of battle or the element of keeping a village alive. He's only repeating your actions. So in that sense, he's somewhere between a pigeon and the cats and dogs, but I think more towards the cats and dogs for that.
Miracle food.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to get my creature over to the enemy area, so we can actually start seeing the enemy AI and seeing how they cope with the elements of this game. So we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, we're back again. Now I have my creature in the enemy area, and as you can see, the god who I'm up against is very much aware that he's in my area, and he's trying to damage my creature as much as possible.
You must expand your realm.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get our creatures to fight each other, and hopefully mine isn't too weak now, that they will actually have a nice little fight here. So we're going to see this happening. Hopefully. Oh. So I'm going to instigate the fight now. We're going to have a little rumble, and we're going to see how the AI does without my help first, and then with. So I'm already pretty much damaged. So my creature will not fight without some sort of interaction from me. So what I'm going to do is try and get him to heal himself, because he's actually quite damaged at the moment. But what we saw before was the enemy god had leashed his creature onto me, which means you want to fight him. The creature was not able to navigate towards me. He got confused, unfortunately. That also kind of affects the cooperation of the creature with his god. That's fine. The individuality is very minimal as well. I know I haven't shown it, but other gods will react the same way. You go into the territory, they're casting miracles on you to get rid of you, then they get their creature over to fight you if you don't leave after that. The strategy is the same, but the actual god navigation and the player awareness is quite good. They understand when you're in the area. So I mean, for that, I'm gonna have to go with around the pigeon when tallying up all those together. I just think that I can't go equal or higher to the creature itself, because my interactions with the creature are just so, the AI is just so good. I can't equal that when I'm looking at this AI at work. For example, say the villagers and the enemy. But that's pretty much it, guys. It was quite a quick episode, I know, but the actual depths, and I do suggest playing this game if you can get your hands on a copy of it, or if you want, leave a comment below, and I may even actually set up a let's play of this game at some point.
Dying through over-worship. Stop this at once.
I'm good, thanks. I'm going to keep going. So yeah, if you want, let me know. I'll do a let's play on my Twitch channel, which you will find a link below. There's also my Twitter and my Facebook. Be sure to join and follow me so you can keep up to date with all the goings on there. And there's also a Discord server which I've set up, which is basically a relay chat. So if you want to become a reviewer especially, be sure to join us. The link's below. Otherwise, guys, I hope you have a really good day. Thanks for joining me once again for our second episode. Next week we're going to be looking at StarCraft 2, so be sure to join us. See you next time.